All right, I am back and streaming here, and so last time I was running this locked 10-core 20-thread CPU Xeon on Timespy, and Timespy said it sucked. Basically, that's what it said, that it sucked. So I'm putting in a GTX 1660 from EVGA that I just got back, or that it just showed up, and I just installed the drivers. Actually, I'm taking the whole rig and I'm running it, I don't know if you guys can see this, on a test bench with a semi-custom loop right there, and I am probably gonna eat it with all my setup here and kill something. Trying to show you that, but let's see here. Where are we? As long as I don't kill anything too bad, we're good. So I'm replacing this RX 580, 8GB. GTX 1660 only has 6GB, so I don't know, the VRAM may suck. It may. It's entirely possible that it sucks. So we'll see. What? Somewhere. So, life of a dad. Someone's going to be yelling at me here at one time or another. I'm trying to get this thing to run. And seeing if Timespy launches. There we go. Okay, Timespy. Are you going to tell me I suck? You guys saw in the last stream what Timespy did. So, all I can do is leave it alone, see what it does. Actually, I wish I could see up front what the performance metrics are like. 10 cores, 20 threads for 89 bucks, right? So it's using a decent amount of processor, and I think all I can do is just sit here and wait and run Timespy, see what it says. Is this something I should be live streaming with? Maybe not. But I'm too lazy to actually sit down and edit a video. I don't feel like editing it. It's going to be a lot of work. And I just finished recording another video where I sit there and try to figure out what's the fastest way to, or what the render times are like on Vegas Pro when you're doing, either just the processor or just the GPU. I got to figure that out. So I have this little benchmark I'm running where I'm adding basically all the different little processors that I come across and benchmark them. So yeah, this benchmark does look kind of cool though. Takes its sweet little time a little bit. I hope it doesn't take too long. In the meanwhile, what could I talk about? Oh, I'm trying to sell i7-3820 4-core 8-thread. It's not unlocked, but it overclocks pretty well with B clock modifications on an X79 board. If anybody wants it, super cheap boot up CPU. You can always have around. It's kind of a good, old reliable. While Timespy is running on another PC, by the way, I'm recording on a totally different PC, so I'm not impacting the performance of Timespy. I thought I had two of these. I can only find one. I changed the thermal paste on it. Still won't output in a video, so I got to do what that guy out at Tech Yes City does and put a heat gun to it and just see if some of the soldering is good or not bad on it. So I got to try that. A couple other things I'm going to be doing soon is I've got an I have an AMD R5 3600, which is kind of a golden CPU sample, and I also have an R7 3700, and I'm going to compare those two on a B450 and a B550 motherboard to see which one can overclock the best, because my 3600 will go to 3.7 gigahertz. I'm sorry, 4.7 gigahertz right now, but the 3700 will only go to an all-core of 4.3 gigahertz and a boost of 4.6 gigahertz. So it's it wasn't the greatest pick from the Silicon Lottery on that processor. So, wait, what's it doing? That's pretty good processor utilization there. But I got dinged pretty good. You can go back and look at my previous stream using Timespy to see what it says about the numbers on the RX 580. And the RX 580 I have in there is like the MSI 8GB Armor, which is apparently a lower boost clock than the other one I have in my rig, which is also an RX 580. That is the XTR that runs a higher clock for memory and for, I think, processor. So that's going to be a wait and see to see which one. Oh, well, I mean, that's probably the difference between the two, is there's like 100 megahertz difference between them. So I don't know what else there is to talk about. That custom loop that I have sitting here right now, I'm a car guy, so that smells. I've used this stuff on race cars for many years, and I have this in my custom loop, and all the little micro bubbles in the loop are gone. So, you know, I think it works. It's got a funky smell though, and I've got a vent on my reservoir, and I kind of can smell it doing its thing. Well, what's it going to do next? 3D Mark Graphics Test 2. Okay. Let's drink a little water. I know what I do. I can show you guys a motherboard. It's fairly cheap if you're into Ryzen. So if you're a Ryzen person, I was very skeptical of ASRock, right? But I'll tell you, their BIOS was actually pretty good. Like, in every little thing you went to, the explanations made sense. It didn't look like something written by some crazy foreigner. If your native language is English anyways. So this is a full ATX B550 Phantom Pro Gaming from ASRock. And it's a great little board for $104. Dual M.2, actually there's 3 M.2s on here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 3 M.2s. One you use for Wi-Fi, one for a SATA M.2, and one for an NVMe. So it's basically the best of both worlds. 4 DDR RAM slots. I've actually been able to get a higher clock with this board than a much more expensive B450 board from Gigabyte. So it's not that bad of a board at all. The only thing is just like the X570s, it's got an extra pin up here for the CPU, extra 4-pin. So it's 12-pin total for the CPU. So I had to go get one of these adapters that goes from a Molex, you know, because the power supply that I've got on my test bench is somebody called it ketchup and mustard. Anyways, it's not modular, so I kind of like the non-modular stuff for my test systems because then I don't have to go hunting down cable for it. But because I was watching Hardware Unboxed, I got suckered, not suckered, but I kind of bought into the whole motherboard that they're using in the tests. I bought into the idea that there is a better motherboard out there in a B550. So I will be, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please. Oh, Timespy just finished up. I'm going to be replacing my motherboard from Gigabyte, which is an Aorus M, with B550 VDH. B550 VDH. All in a quest to try to get the highest clock I can on that 3600. It's all because of the VRMs. I'm switching boards only because of the VRMs. I want to get, if I can get that thing to boot at 4.9 gigahertz, 4.8 gigahertz on custom loop, I will be a happy camper. I honestly will be a very happy camper if I can do that. Or if I can get the 3700X to boot at a higher all-core, I will also be happy with that. So if they sold the mortar here, I would get that. So B550 Pro VDH. It's not a whole lot of pro about it. All right, now that these results are done, let's see what it says for Timespy. My Timespy score right now is 5631 with a CPU score of 7979. My graphics score is a 5354. I swear to God, Timespy was dinging the crap out of me before, right? 26 FPS on the CPU test, 34 FPS on the graphics test. You know what? Let's see what 3D Mark has to say here. I think 3D Mark just likes the newer architectures, because if you look if you look at this video I'm going to upload here in a couple days, when I ran oh, someone's giving me crap of about my 3600. Somebody on Reddit's giving me crap about my 3600 running 1.378 volts. I don't care if I burn the thing out. It's a $150 processor. It's not a $1,000 processor. It's not even, when I bought an i5 before, it was 199 bucks. This thing is $160. If I burn it, I'll go buy another one. I probably won't burn it in like 3 years, so who cares? All these guys are so scared of dropping voltage on the proc. I don't get it. Let's see. Oops, wrong keyboard. YouTube.com. And I gotta go to my channel. Yes, channel. And overclock 10 core. That's 2 minutes. All right. We're gonna watch this. So here's my Timespy results. Last time, Timespy gave me a wonderful score of 997 for processor. 997, ladies and gentlemen. And then it said my CPU score was an 8014 with a 26 FPS. So the CPU FPS was exactly what it was going to be before, but the FPS it was giving for the RX 580 was 5 and 4. So my score was a 997. My composite score was a 997. Are you kidding me? And yet, if I sit here, 997. How weak is that? But now Timespy is saying I got a 5631 and a lower CPU score. Probably because it's just relying on the GPU for that score. So some of these benchmarks are, to me, just a little too synthetic. Because when I ran the video rendering benchmark, what did we see? Not a huge difference. Went from a render time of 40 minutes to 33 minutes. I guess 7 minutes is a lot. So, but still, to go from 900 to 5,631, that's an inane amount of points to be giving. I don't know what the point system's like. Anyways, that's it. Timespy on a GTX 1660 versus an 8GB RX 580. MSI RX 580 Armor 8GB. I thought it would have been close, or just been given a lower score. Timespy must like newer architecture. All right, guys. If you like me testing hardware, hit subscribe, or at least like, and it'll tell you when I upload something new. Thanks.